And then you think, oh, well, maybe I didn't hear it. What's your heart pacemaker doing? It's just received a signal. Low battery. Imagine the panic just in front of an office. 2,000 people. Low battery. Jesus, I gotta get out of here. But yet, you expect me to be amusing, but I got a low battery. So, I go to Adam Hamilton. Adam Hamilton is producing my record 6 months before. A guy, the head of Cleopatra Records, somehow I've forgotten how he gets in touch with me. He comes to my office and he says, we'd like you to make another record. Another record? Look at the singer. I haven't sung in 2 years. He said, we'd like you to make it. And he said, here are some of the songs we'd like you to sing. And they're all science fiction songs. Like, what's the one everybody laughs at? The space one, the John Elton song.
Rocket Man!
Rocket Man, I was sitting someplace, it was like an old stage like this. The guy said, I was like at an award show. And it was like a private little award show. And they said, would you sing Rocket Man? I'm not going to sing. Come on, sing Rocket Man. So I said, all right, God, Rocket Man, hey, Rocket Man. Let's get around. Let's get around. All this time. It's gone viral. And people are going, oh, Rocket Man. I'm going, oh, Rocket Man. I'd like to do it again like I did Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Yeah, sure. Yeah, but you don't understand. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds was part of another record. It's a whole context of it. And I had to do it on Johnny Carson's show. And I'm doing this cut, which involves, I've forgotten the literature cut of it, but say it was Cyrano de Bergerac, which ends, I may climb to no great heights, but I will climb alone. And it segues musically into Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, a drug addict. Okay, so one is literature, standing alone, segues musically into a guy who can't stand alone because he's drunk. That was the context of what I was in vain to do. So when I get on the Johnny Carson show, the guy says, oh, that's a 6-minute cut. You can only do 3 minutes. Do the literature for the song. Do the song. And then I do the song out of context, and Carson looks at me, and I never get on the Carson show. Because what does that have to do? So this time, people say, you did Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds and Mr. Tambourine. Right. And I'm going along with Joe. I had something in mind to do, whether I did it good, bad, or good. There was an artistic desire, and nobody recognized it. So when I did an album called Has Been. Yeah. 3 people in all those audiences listen to it. You should get at it. It's a really terrific piece of work by Ben Folds and some of the myself. So Ben Folds comes to town after that record is produced, and he says, do a half an hour with me. We'll do half a dozen of the songs. We'll do some of the songs from the record. I grab it, and in front of Ben Folds' rock and roll audience one night, I do some of the songs from Has Been. And meanwhile, he had earlier in rehearsal said, why did you do Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds? I said, oh, you put the lights. No, maybe it's time. This was all his idea. And we'll start with you holding the finger up to the audience. We'll put a spotlight on the finger, and we'll pull back. So we do that. So I do, in front of rock and roll audience, all these rock and roll songs. And then, final moment, Lucy in the Sky, and they fall down. And that's the only song. Those were the only songs we heard. We had no more material. When we quit, the audience stood up and cheered for half an hour. I swear to God. No exaggeration. They were there for half an hour. Elvis had left the building. I was gone. There was nothing else I could do, but it was like right out of the rock and roll concert. So that's kind of stayed in my mind. So when this guy said, we want you to do another record, we did another record. And photographs. And he puts down a sheet of songs that he wants me to do. They're all science fiction songs. I am not going to prey upon the science fiction thing and make a mockery of another Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds mockery thing. He said, well, that's what kind of songs I want you to do. So I wasn't going to do it. But the songs laid out on my desk, and started looking at the songs, and that started with David Bowie's Space Odyssey. Major Tom, are you there? Where's Major Tom? And then another song says, I forgot the name of the song, but another song about Major Tom, and then another song, 6 songs about Major Tom, using the Major Tom character. They're different people over the years. They've taken David Bowie's character, Major Tom, something he made up, and they did a whole thing on Major Tom. There's even a song called Mrs. Major Tom, in which she sings, and the hook on her song is, you didn't burn out, you burned up. No, you didn't burn up, you burned out, is the last thing. Beautiful, lilting song about a wife who gave up on her husband. I think, man, there's a whole Major Tom character here who goes out into space. Now, I'll fill in the stuff he does in space. He dreams, he thinks, he's dying. He remembers about what it was like to fly. He remembers his wife, how he met his wife. She did me in, what's the song? With science.
Blinded.
She blinded me with science. She blinded the song. She blinded me with science. Silver Machine, Space Cowboy. And then I found Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody, guys. And I put it all together, and I have an art called Seeking Major Tom. He gets lost. He's in space. Finally, at the end, I do Iron Man and Wild. Not Alex.
Zach Wild.
Zach, you're with me, boy. Zach Wild plays his fantastic guitar, lays down his vocal. I had laid down my vocal earlier. 2 days ago, I heard his and my vocal put together. Mine was so thin, I went back and I re-recorded it. I was in better voice then. I re-recorded it. I've done Iron Man with Zach Wild! Revolver magazine, which is a sort of different of Revolver magazine, is giving me an award. I'm going to be on their show, and we're debuting Iron Man on that show in a week or two. And all this from this record. And we've got 80% of it done. A couple of tracks need to be Brad Paisley's on it. Sheryl Crow has promised to sing Mrs. Major Tom. It's filled. I chose, because I got him going to heaven, which is the Sinatra song. Big star, small star.
He doesn't even know what's on.
What's the name of the song? Saxophone solo. And I'm speaking the lyric. It talks about why God is looking after us. And the saxophone solo wails. And Adam Hamilton has a great keyboard thing. And just my voice, saxophone and keyboard. Instead of the lush Nelson Riddle orchestration that Sinatra had. So, I heard both those times. One of the Sinatra brought me to tears, and the Zach Wild one is as exciting as the opening song in Common People.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be a fabulous record, I think, and that too will be out of the fall. What else? come to Orlando and do a convention. Oh, I'm here. Still joking. Okay, now that's enough about me. I just finished another season of Aftermath. Spent 4.5 hours. One of the Aftermath things. Have anybody seen Aftermath? Oh, Lord, it's interesting about the record. I mean, you come to see Aftermath on the Bio channel. You see Ron Rose. That's like the most fascinating thing I've ever done. It's it's unbelievable what happens to these people. So this season, or actually they're put together as the same season, 12 shows. I just got out of a chair 2-3 weeks ago with 4.5 hours with Daniel Ellsberg of the Pentagon Papers. Does anybody know that? There's going to be a lot of buying, but that happened. Daniel Ellsberg turns out to be a great man of America. Whether you think he did bad by exposing the Pentagon Papers years ago or not, he's a true patriot. And I had the most interesting time with this wonderful man. And I kept wondering, why did he come to Aftermath? And I realized that the WikiLeaks and Ange,
Julian Assange. Julian!
what's it, Julian Assange and Corporal Maggie, and the WikiLeaks thing is like the Pentagon Papers. And I got him talking about the comparison of what the press did to Daniel Ellsberg through the Pentagon Papers, what the press is doing now. And I don't know the truth behind the Ange thing or the Manning thing. Nobody at the moment does, I guess. But there is a similarity in releasing things that nobody wanted released to see what would happen. 4.5 hours, one of the great men of America. Fascinating stuff is what I'm doing there. And then I did earlier than that, a couple months earlier than that, I did Raw Nerve and in Next Generation. LeVar.
Jordy?
LeVar Burton texts me one day, says, when's my show coming? My mother wants to know. So I texted him back, I don't know, tell your mother I don't know.